we would like to begin. It doesn't mean that we are not respectful to our chief guest, sir, but then keeping the time in mind, I would like to begin. Yes, Sophia.
Welcome to one and all.
स्वागत है आप सभी का. असतो मां सद्गमय, तमसो मां ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर मां अमृतम गमय.
May the light of knowledge take us away from darkness.
On this auspicious occasion, I would like to pray my nation first, and I request all my dear friends, guests, and dignitaries to join us for the same.
वन्दे मातरं सुजला सुफला मलयज शीतला सस्यश्यामला मातरं वन्दे मातरं शुभ्रज्योत्स्ना पुलकितयामिनी पुल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदल शोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुर भाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम्.
भारत की ये वंदना हम सबके मन को हमेशा आलोकित करती है. With the prayer to this nation, I would like to have a small change in my PowerPoint presentation because Dr. Sir, Tope Sir has not joined yet. I welcome Professor J.P. Das. Sir, giving your introduction definitely needs a caliber, and I doubt my caliber for that. Still, let me make an attempt. Sir is an Indo-Canadian education psychologist and has been awarded with the prestigious Order of Canada. It's like our Padma Vibhushan. Sir is known for his contribution in the field of cognitive psychology. I know that many of us would have just read his name in the books while reading the intelligence theory called PASS or his research articles. And we are going to meet him in person over here. Sir would be addressing the whole gathering at the end of this program. He is one of the most senior psychologists in the world. And let me tell you, youngest at his heart and his willpower to contribute something everyday new to the field of psychology. Sir's list of awards, achievements, publication of his research papers and published books. Trust me, this list itself can be a book by itself. Sir, मैं माफी चाहती हूँ कि इतने थोड़े समय में मैं आपके बारे में कहने की कोशिश कर रही हूँ. Please accept our warm welcome. I would like to now actually welcome all our authors. To start with the list, I want to welcome Professor Prakash Sir, who is also I welcome Dr. Prakash. Sir is a famous name in the area of psycholinguistics and cognition. Dr. Prakash has been a strong contributor to BBIT right from the stage of conception. His active participation during item analysis and item development of BBIT was very productive and helpful. Sir, you do justice to your name and spread the light of knowledge through your constant research work. Sir is recipient of many prestigious fellowships, To name some: Japanese Government Fellowship, Fulbright Postdoctoral Fellowship, Texas, Fulbright Senior Scholar Fellowship, Yale University, Erasmus Mundus Visiting Professor Fellowship, Germany. Sir, your knowledge and intellectual skills are actually reflected through your research articles. Sir is editor-in-chief for Journal of Cultural Cognitive Sciences and associate editor of Psychological Studies. Sir, please pardon me if I am doing any injustice by undercounting your contribution to the field of psychology. Can I now request?
Thank you.
So welcome, sir. We would be listening to Dr. Prakash after a while. I now extend my welcome to Professor Braj Bhushan, sir.
His works are recommended as textbook references in syllabus of psychology, economics, sociology, population studies, education, mathematics, and several universities. His major interest in research areas like cognitive neuropsychology, cognitive ergonomics, and trauma psychology has made a significant contribution are in varied areas of mental health, affective processes, post-traumatic stress and growth, psychological assessment, user experience, neurodevelopmental disorders, autism spectrum disorder, specific learning disorder, trauma and stressor-related traumatic brain injuries. Sir, we wholeheartedly welcome you. I now welcome Dr. U.N. Das. It is a privilege to welcome Professor U.N. Das, former professor of psychology at the Center of Advanced Study in Psychology, Utkal University and University of Delhi, India. He has been recognized as an ardent researcher in the area of psychological measurement, cognitive psychology, and information processing in the young children, and has authored 8 books. For his students, he is a prudent teacher who has taught and guided research at master's and PhD programs. He has been a Klimkal scholar and visiting professor in Canada. He was on the team of BBIT and its development and was instrumental in framing the methods and analyzing the results. Hearty welcome to you, sir.
We welcome you, Professor U.N. Das.
I now welcome Mrs. Renu Goyal. Mrs. Renu Goyal is a child psychologist, special educator, and rehabilitational professional. She is the founder director of Kidicious Learning Differently, a child psychological therapy clinic based in Delhi. She is a popular name in Delhi NCR for her active contribution in the field of child psychology as a practitioner and author of various articles. Mrs. Renu Goyal is a co-author of BBIT and was instrumental for data collection also. Ma'am, I welcome you.
Thank you so much.
Let's welcome Ms. Swagatika Samantare. Swagatika is the right hand of BBIT. She has been taking the pain of compiling all the data, taking every day a new input from Dr. Das and understanding how to incorporate those changes. Swagatika is a lecturer of psychology at the BJB College, Bhubaneswar, and has been actively working at Learning Center, Bhubaneswar, which is a dream project of Dr. JP Das. Swagatika, we will not do any injustice if we say that this dream of BBIT could be completed only because of you. You deserve a big round of applause. Let me now my co-host, Operation in Charge BBIT, co-author and founder director of Total Solution Hyderabad. Yes, I'm talking of Dr. Pooja Jha. Let's formally welcome you too. Dr. Pooja Jha is an active clinician and proactively works for children. Her expertise are cognitive skill training, behavior modification, early intervention, and applied behavior analysis, ABA. She directs 10 branches of Total Solution and 3 special education centers in Hyderabad, Secunderabad. Her hardworking nature and optimistic attitude are very contagious, and she pulls everyone along. Dr. Pooja has been actively working during the development of BBIT. She has taken the responsibility of its distribution services. We welcome you, Pooja.
Thank you so much, Sophia. Thank you so much. So now I request Dr. JP Das, Dr. Satya Sir, and all our authors to virtually launch the product. This is a dream come true. Now, brain and mind have the same relation as हार्डवेयर एंड सॉफ्टवेयर शेयर्स। मस्तिष्क और बुद्धि का समागम ही एक प्राणी को मनुष्य बनाता है। विदाउट माइंड ब्रेन कैन नॉट एक्सप्रेस इटसेल्फ इफेक्टिवली। Namaskar everyone, I am Medha, very happy and excited today. As you know, I cannot talk or behave on my own. I am the boss, but I need a body to show my cognition. And to check these cognitive skills, you need a tool. Woohoo! Yes, we have BBIT. Brain-based intelligence test. In this bag, Dr. Das and his team has packed their knowledge and current representation of Indian population from age 5 years to 20 years. We have interpretation manual, administration manual, we have stimulus books, record form, response booklet, and all the manipulatives. This tool has a fast-tracked version also. And this is coming in Hindi very soon. Happy learning!
Thank you, Sophia. Namaskar. Well, I remember we had a very good brainstorming session for designing this logo because the logo is the face of the product. First of all, I would like to sincerely thank Professor Rane from IIT Mumbai for depicting the entire intent of the product and designing it so intricately and beautifully. Thank you, Professor Rane, for beautiful symbol of BBIT.
Ma'am is a professor at Delhi University, Department of Psychology. Ma'am has done her graduation, post-graduation and MPhil from Utkal University, Odisha. She did her doctorate from University of Toronto, Canada. Ma'am has major interest in the research area like cognitive and language development, socio-emotional development, socio-cultural context and human development, application of cognitive and social developmental research in education, intervention research for enhancing positive growth in children and youth. Ma'am, we welcome you. I invite you to please explain us about BBIT.
Nandita ma'am?
Audible?
Yes ma'am, you are audible.
Thank you so much. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes ma'am.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all, the organizers, for giving me this opportunity to speak a few words about BBIT. It's a great honor for me, actually, because the test has been developed by a team of psychologists in India, and I'm proud of it. And I congratulate them all. So before going to talk a little bit about the significance and uniqueness of the tool BBIT, brain-based intelligence test, I'd like to say that this test consists of two different versions. As I think Swagatika has already pointed out, it has a fast track version as well as a detailed version. So it's quite easy for people who want to have a quick screening of different cognitive functioning, and also for those who want to have a detailed profile of the different cognitive domains. They can also have, use the detailed version of the tool. Now, coming to the significance of brain-based intelligence test, as the name suggests, it's a brain-based approach to intelligence where there has been a significant linkage between functioning, cognitive functioning, and the different regions of the brain. So no longer intelligence is considered as something which is different from the functioning of the brain. Rather, it's localized in different regions of the brain. And as it is, when you are saying that it is a brain-based functioning, then it becomes easier for us to find out the location where these functions are happening, and therefore it would be easier for us to even assess and intervene. The most important thing about the test is that it is a breakthrough actually in India, because till now we have been using tools and tests that are developed in the West, and some of the tools that are adopted in Indian context. But it's actually a breakthrough because it has been developed by a team of cognitive psychologists, cognitive scientists who are very reputed researchers in their own field, and they have given their own effort in developing the tool. The test is developed by taking a large pool of data from across India, covering, say, I think 5 different states. Approximately 1,700 sample or data were collected. So that itself suggests how significant the development of the tool, the process it took. It was so, stringent a process that the researchers and the developers, they have taken. Another important thing about BBIT is that it no longer depends, the score or the performance in the test doesn't require any school-based knowledge, which is a very significant contribution of the task. Because I always remember when you ask a child about what is a thermometer and the child says, I don't know, as soon as you change the question, you ask how your mother checks your fever, then the child says it's the thermometer. So actually, this is one of the most important thing about the task, the test BBIT, is that it is no longer emphasizing on school-based knowledge. At the same time, it is also helping us to provide intervention for reading and mathematical abilities and all school-based learning processes. So, in addition to that, you can say that though it's covering the age group of 5 to 20 years, it also would help us to look at the cognitive decline or cognitive development, rather, which happens beyond 20 years of age. And I think the norm for the older age group is yet to be developed. But however, the tool definitely would be a good, significant contribution for the elderly population as well, to find out the cognitive decline and the cognitive development in the elderly population. As you know, assessment won't make any sense without intervention. And this test itself not only provides the assessment, but it also paves the way for intervention. It provides us a significant ground for creating an intervention, rehabilitation process, and therefore is significant not only for finding out or identifying areas of problem in the child or in the adult, but also help us in providing intervention, developing intervention modules and training program for people who are having problem in different cognitive domains. These are some of the significant things that I noted in the test and I'd like to share with you. Now I request Swagatika to go in detail to the different sub-tests, because there are two different domains in the brain-based intelligence test. One is planning and executive function, and the other one is information integration. So and then there are 15 sub-tests in the first and there are 5 sub-tests in the second. So Swagatika would be discussing little detail about the different sub-tests. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nandita ma'am, for all your insights about BBIT. I request Swagatika to please tell us in brief about the whole journey.
Yes, Pooja. Thank you, madam, for explaining what is BBIT and how it is going to help our children. So basically, as Nandita madam has said, we have 20 sub-tests in the entire battery. And we have 2 parts. One is Planix and the other one is information integration. Planix cover cognitive flexibility, and we have tests like trails, planned pattern, pattern reverse, visual search, and color shape shifting to measure cognitive flexibility. To measure inhibition control, we have Warwell Stroop, number reverse, and vigilance test. We have working memory tests. There are sentence span and number span. RAN digits, rapid automatic naming digits and alphabet. They are kept to measure letter and digit knowledge and automation. They are used as supplementary tests in this entire battery. There are 2 tests in Planix to measure complex problem solving skill. One is crack the code and the other one is predicament. Predicament test is also a good test to measure socio-emotional maturity among children and adolescent. And these 2 tests are usually meant for adolescent. We can use it for children above 15 years. Then comes information integration. We have configuration and sequences in information integration processes. For configuration, we have design configuration and pictorial verbal tests. And for measuring sequences, we have letter sequence, auditory sequence, and visual sequences. So they make the whole BBIT in total. Thank you.
Thank you, Swagatika.
And now I request all the key authors to share their experiences during this journey. To start with, I would like to invite Professor Prakash to share his experiences during the development of BBIT.
Okay, thank you, Pooja.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon to all. To tell you, I would like to tell you that I'm really not a man of testing, basically, but I've been involved in BBIT from the very beginning, as I think as has been told, and maybe for 2 reasons. One is, my long association with Professor J.P. Das, and the second one is I'm equally fascinated, or let's say, by the BBIT approach. That is, it was appealing, for me for various academic or like theoretical reasons. The BBIT, in fact, is based on a solid or a sound neuropsychological framework based on mainly Luria's work. It taps, and also, like another thing is, it's all Indian. I think these 2 are, and also played a major role in about my involvement, that there is a need to develop a true Indian intelligence test, good intelligence test. And the BBIT is based, it taps, in fact, all the major cognitive domains, as mentioned by Dr. Nandita Babu. And it has, let's say, 2 sections, major sections. One dealing with planning and executive functioning, and the second one, let's say, dealing with information processing and integration. And other thing, like as again, like say, what I like and about it is, like it is a process-oriented approach. Like I think I think it's, if it is missed, by the thing, that's like also a major positive thing, like say that drew, like, or probably the reasons for my involvement with all this, and it has, and also the battery, the BBIT, let's say battery, is largely a I would say largely it is non-verbal, in the sense like that means, like this test can be used in all the Indian languages very easily with minimal kind of thing, like say Hindi version is coming, but I feel that it is very easy that, like say to convert, to make, replicate this test, like say bring out this test format in all the Indian languages. And it is also, I would say that is a cultural fair test, in the sense that which means, this can be used, like say across cultures, whether, like say they are literate or illiterate or semi-literate or tribal or rural or urban and so on. So the other equally important thing, like I would say that is like it's so easy, like say to administer, it's very user-friendly, and it can be used, like say for both theory, I would say, let's say for both theory as well as, like say practice settings. That is, whether it's educational, clinical, or, like say organizational settings. I'm very confident that all the, both, researchers as well as, like say practitioners would find this, like our effort, this test very useful. And what else, on the whole, like say about the journey, to say on the whole, it has been very exciting since we started in 2017. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, sir, for all your insights about this. अतिथि देवो भव, भारत की इस मान्यता का ध्यान रखते हुए ब्रजभूषण सर, मैं आपसे पहले हमारे आज के गेस्ट को आमंत्रित करना चाहती हूँ. Let us welcome Dr. Kalidas D. Chauhan, who is already with us. Dr. Kalidas is Registrar of Maharashtra University of Health Sciences and Professor of Forensic Medicine. His uncompromising academic leadership has led to the improvement of quality education in health sciences and ultimately effective health care. It is my privilege to welcome you, sir, for this event. And I am extremely thankful to you for supporting all of us for this particular endeavor. So this is our Dr. Kalidas D. Chauhan. And sir, we welcome you. Now, to continue the program, I request Professor Brajbhushan to share his experiences during the EIT development. Sir.
Well, a very warm good evening to all of you. I hope I am audible, Pooja.
Yes, sir, you are.
So the launch of BBIT, the brain-based intelligence test, the indigenous test of cognitive abilities, is a step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. I congratulate Team BBIT, especially Professor JP Das sir, for taking the lead. Together, we have come forward with the first of its kind test by and for the Indian population. The team has really worked very hard to develop and standardize this test. Finally, 74 years after the Indian independence, Team BBIT is delighted to offer this test to the country. A test with Indian norms for children and adults that can be used for the assessment of major cognitive functions, predicting academic achievement and career planning, as well as the assessment for induction, something which is also being right now talked about as part of the new education policy. I sincerely thank Professor Mandar Rane, my colleague at IIT Bombay, for designing the logo of BBIT and my team, which was very closely working with me, Ms. Pratibha, Manisha, and Akriti, for meticulously conducting the field trials. I once again congratulate Team BBIT for developing the ingenious solution and hope it will serve as a milestone in our indigenous effort in psychological assessment, helping the country achieve its target of Atmanirbhar Bharat. I must say that the schools, the teachers, the parents, whosoever participated in the process of validation, all of them look forward to BBIT. And I take this opportunity to thank the entire team for the restless job they have done for years today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I request Professor Yuvan Das to share his thoughts with us about his journey during BBIT. Swagatika, can we please find out if Das sir has joined us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pooja, Swagatika. I am privileged to have been associated with a work which was pioneered by Professor J.P. Das, who is my academic mentor, my PhD supervisor, where I had the opportunity of working under his guidance on cognitive processing in young children. After Sir published an article in Psychological Bulletin, which is probably the best or most esteemed journal in psychology in '79, on Luria's information integration model, including simultaneous and successive processing. That is what I worked upon. And then during course of his visit to India, Professor Das was discussing about these ideas with some others, including me. And it was in 2018 that I received a call from him and went over to his house. So I was involved at the initial stage of planning the BBIT, and Pooja and Swagatika, both of them were there. We went through each of the subtests, which Sir explained us one by one and step by step. And we came with our suggestions. Modifications were executed by Swagatika and Pooja, who are really the two pillars for bringing the test to its finality. Then I was involved at the stage of item analysis, item development, and also in going through the user's manual and making little bit additions here and there, which was primarily written by Sir. So I was involved in the statistical analysis along with Dr. Damodar Swar from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. So I am glad that I have been associated with this, and the test will be appreciated among the scholars, the teachers, those who are hardcore researchers in psychology, as well as clinical practitioners. And the test will be applicable not just for the educated and the literate mass, because the test have less of verbal contents, and therefore the test would be equally useful, equally meaningful, and for the children, and also for the adults who are not very fluent in their language and who cannot respond meaningfully to verbal items, as we come across in many worldwide intelligence tests. So therefore, I think that the test would make a mark, not only in India, but across different countries in the world. And we pray and we wish, as a member of, I wish as a member of the team, to see that the test is appreciated, used profusely, and at the end, I take the opportunity of expressing my gratitude to Professor Das, and also my compliments to Professor Prakash and Professor Brajbhushanji and Pooja, Renu Goyal and also Swagatika, who are really the true pillars for bringing this test to this finality. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Sir, thank you so much for your kind words. And I am sure that very soon we would be able to take it internationally by working on it further. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Now I request Mrs. Renu Goyal to please share her experiences.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks a lot, Pooja, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I'm audible. Okay, thanks. So
Yes,
I
Renu.
just want to highlight. Yeah, okay. I just want to highlight here a few things from my professional career. So when I used to read Dr. Das sir books in my initial days, frequent thoughts came to my mind that someday I will be meeting sir face to face. I've always admired his knowledge and depth along with his simplistic expression drafted in his writings, which along with me helps a lot professionals in this field, I guess, and I'm hope to. So finally, I met him one day, which made my dream come true. And later on, I was honored to be a part of his team. So my journey with BBIT started on that day. Within couple of interactions with all the team members here in BBIT, we all became like a one family at one time. So thanks a lot for this opportunity. Now let's discuss what BBIT mean to me. Being a clinical practitioner, most of us use various kind of IQ tests to generate reports. Even I used to use certain tests like Wechsler's. It is not about like comparison or reliability of any test, but after assessing on different tests, we definitely get results. But there were certain limitations. First of all, the language barrier. Language barrier was there, so we cannot use that test on each and every child, maybe coming from the rural background or a urban background. But when we talk about the BBIT, it is definitely coming in multiple language, and it's a culture fair test. So there are various language options you can get. And the other question after using BISC or other test is what to do after the assessment. We are like hopeless, what to do after that. But after using BBIT, we can have multiple options to plan interventions. So that is something like, icing on the cake, which I think everyone agrees to it. So BBIT, and the other thing that I like with with BBIT and what the sir has done with this test, that there are multiple research options as well. After using this test, you can do multiple researches. Maybe PhD students or master students can use in their researches. So that is one beautiful thing about this test. So what I feel, so even everyone agrees with me, that it's a complete package for us. So lastly, I only say I'm honored to be part of this test and this team, and it's a wonderful team, and it's a wonderful association with sir and team members, and all the very best. And thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I think all our wonderful authors, they need a big round of applause. I now request Dr. Kalidas to address the gathering.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Just I will not on my camera because the range problem is there. Just I will speak. Thank you for the introduction. Respected Sri Rajeshji, Dr. Das, and my friends and colleagues. I am very happy that the youngsters are taking so much interest in research and taking a pride to do something for their country. I am not from the field of psychology, but I do understand that how important it is to have an appropriate IQ assessment tool. I first congratulate Dr. J.P. Das and his team for their massive work of doing data collection on 1,700 children pan-India. Dr. J.P. Das when I was just reading about you, I was surprised to see your list of achievements. And yes, I would agree to Dr. Pooja Jha when she says that this list itself can comprise a book. The motivations and willpower shows us that age can never be a barrier. It is a commendable that the whole test has been developed in India and no outsourcing has been done. I am very excited to see how it would be with all major language translations. I would recommend that education system in India should use this tool for better understanding of our schools going children and help them to bridge the gap which has occurring due to this pandemic. What I could gather from reading about BBIT is that it will give a detailed and
I think due to rains, the network is not working. I think we have lost connection with Dr. Kalidas Teacher 1. But what I could gather from his speech that Sir has really done his homework to read about BBIT and Dr. GP Das. Sir, thank you so much. From your busy schedule, you could take out some time and read about this test. Thanks a lot. Now, I can see that we have Dr. Sanyam Bharadwaj also with us. I request my host to come to the highlight slide for Dr. Sanyam Bharadwaj. Sir is Joint Secretary and Officer on a Special Duty for Central Board of Secondary Education, CBSE, Delhi. Sir, your humble and polite nature is very inspiring. Being controller of CBSE examinations recently, I understand your hardships. Sir, still your motivation to do something in the field is really commendable. We welcome you, sir. And I really want to request you to share your thoughts and the kind of current situation which is going on for a school-going population in India. We welcome you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Poojaji, and welcome to you, and congratulations to you all. The kind of work which you all have done, I would say that means my dream has come true, I would say certainly. It is only because of, you might be knowing that CBSE being the most sought after board, which is providing the education not only to the education of the society, but even to the most disabled candidates also. We are trying to provide best of the services and assistance and cooperation to the CWSN candidate. When I got an opportunity to be the controller of examination CBSE in 2018, because I was already associated with the examination, so it was known to me that even we can provide lots of other facilities also. And in that thought, we all had worked a lot in this direction. The present education secretary, Ms. Anita Karwal, and other people, when she was the chairperson CBSE, we had worked a lot. Now, I would say that in the present scenario, what is happening because of the lockdown and the online education and on other issues, the education is, I would say, has taken a back seat. Though it is known to me that our kids can do wonders. And based on the same, we thought that we should devise a policy by which, without conducting the examination also, we should be able to assess them. And two policies were framed by us. Lots of flexibilities were provided to the CWSN candidate in this policy also. And we are working in this direction, and I am very confident by the end of this month, we would be able to declare the result of class 10th and 12th. Poojaji might be knowing that I shared with her that I wanted to have one conference kind of thing or seminar kind of thing, where the kind of assistance which we have provided to the CWSN candidate, how can we expand the our hands to the CWSN candidate? I want that there should not be any problem. So I am so open that even if we have to go for a special kind of syllabus or curriculum, we should go for that, and then we should see that what best we can do. And believe me that what is happening sometimes, because the people in power, they are misusing the services which are provided to CWSN candidate. So that also we wanted to check, and to check that thing, we are very optimistic that no, we should do something in such a manner with the consensus of all, so that we would be able to make a very good system. Because when I had visited cities, it was observed by me that if I can go to some place, the disabled persons can also go over there. If I can eat something, they can also eat in the same fashion. They can roam in the buses, they can roam in the trains. Here in our country, it is very, very difficult. So one point of time, I thought that Chandigarh kind of city which we had, that one part of one colony of any city could be made disabled friendly from all point of view. Now coming to the main point, when I thought that how to go about it, one point was in my mind, that how we can just find out that certain students are having certain learning disabilities or other disabilities. Because when the students are coming to the CBSE in the class 9, during that period, it has been observed that no one is applying to us for the flexibilities, and they are not disclosing their disability. It is not only that, I would say they are not aware about anything else also. Even the parents are not ready to listen that no, their child is not very or suffering from some dyscalculia or mental disability kind of thing. So which I feel that should not be seen as the stigma in today's time. It should be seen that what we can do, and there are flexibilities, facilities, treatment, equipment, and all kind of supports are available which can address. But was over there that how we can analyze or find out that students who are joining the class 9, they are having the problem. And I'm happy to see that the brain-based intelligent test which has been developed by you people, these kind of tests will be helping to us also. We wanted that soon students are coming, there could be multiple tests which could be conducted, and the report which is given by the test, this report should be sent to the parents, and counseling should be done with the experts, so that what happened, early diagnosing of the problem would be giving better result in treating the problem, this issue. So I am very confident that when we would be having the conference, all of you could be invited, because I wanted that we should get the views of each and everyone. And we wanted that by providing the or maintaining the sensitivity of the examination, we should provide all kind of assistance. So even I am thinking, can we conduct the examination of the student at his home or his center only? If it is possible, certainly we will go. And I am very optimistic that this could be done. Say if we are having, say, some 10,000, 12,000 students and having 25,000 schools, so certainly we can prepare a different kind of question paper for them, which we are doing even right now also. Maximum, even the Ministry of Social Justice is asking to us that whatsoever you have done, you provide it to us so that we can include it in our annual report. So looking into this, I feel that we all together can make our country a country which is very supporting to this section of society, because believe me, I am very clear in thinking all these things. Coming time, we would be facing more problem with this kind of people, because a lot of stress is over there, and working stress, other kind of stress. So the kids who is going to take the birth in our country, the number of students will certainly increase, which will be who would be having these kind of problems. So we have to take care of the parents so that we can just guide them so that they can do the better justice with the kids, these kind of kids. We have to see that how we can diagnose the problem, and then we can go for the remedy. And as far as studies are concerned, certainly we will see that what best could be done, what kind of facilities could be provided. With all these, I would certainly like to communicate my thanks and wish the team who has developed this test, because it is known to me that when I was going through different documents, whatever test has been developed, that has been developed on a very population or sample, I would say. But this is the test which has been developed on a very big number. 1700 is not a small number. And when we can do with the help of this number, and you implement this, certainly the result which will
Please, Gayatri, I request you to mute yourself, please.
So the result which we will be getting out of this test will further strengthen this test. And I am always with you people. Just let me know if any help could be extended from my side. I will request Pooja ji to share the details of this test, because I was unable to join you all during the beginning because of certain technical problems. But certainly I'll be with you, and we will see that how best or how good we can utilize this test to diagnose the problem in our research also. Wishing everyone you a very good luck, and I am sure that we all would be able to take care of our this generation, which is a little bit suffering from certain problems. And it is not a problem. I feel that no, that is giving the strength to us that no, we should go and support them. With all these words, thank you very much to each and everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Your all words has definitely enlightened me with 100-watt bulb in my mind. I am very happy and very optimistic that CBSE, which is already doing a lot for our children, not only children with special needs, but even for so-called regular children. It's a very supportive education system. Thank you, sir. It really sounds very optimistic to me that we would be able to do a lot. Sir, now I humbly request you to virtually donate a free kit of BBIT to Nilofer Government Hospital, Hyderabad. We have Dr. Rishikesh with us from the hospital, who is the psychiatrist over there. And I request Sirisha, kindly please hand over the kit to Dr. Rishikesh. Can you please unmute yourself, Sirisha?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes, Sirisha, we are able to see you. Okay. It is all virtual. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rishikesh, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I take the privilege to introduce Professor Niharika Vohra. Ma'am, I extend my heartfelt welcome to you, and thank you so much to accept our invitation to be our another guest of honor today. To let you know a little bit about Professor Niharika Vohra, ma'am is Vice Chancellor of Delhi Skill and Entrepreneurship University. She is also Professor of Organization Behavior at IIM Ahmedabad. Ma'am has also been chairperson of Center for Innovation, Incubation and Entrepreneurship in the same institute. Her academic excellence can be measured through her list of publications, which is more than 100 papers and 4,000 citations as of now. Sorry, ma'am, if my information is undercounting your contribution to the field. First of all, I congratulate you on your new role as Vice Chancellor. And now I request you to talk about importance of developing such kind of test in Indian context. Niharika, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. Good afternoon, Dr. Das. Maybe it is good morning for you at this point of time. It's a pleasure to meet you over Zoom and virtually. And thank you all of you for attending this session and sharing your very interesting viewpoints on this. I know the session has more than 100 people because I could not get in for a long time into the session. So it's a very, it's good to see so many people who are interested in this. When I was asked to talk about the importance of indigenization or developing tests in India, I of course got back to my first set of work that I did in research, which was on looking at the extent of indigenization of psychology in India. And at that time, that number or that extent was not very high. And that has continued to be a frame through which I have looked at many of the work that has been published and taught and looked at, even in organizational behavior, while my earlier work was in psychology. I think when I think of why we should have more indigenous tests, I can think of one or two very interesting stories or incidents that I have come across, one from the cross-cultural psychology domain and one from the domain of some of my, some of the other work that I've been doing. So I will just quote that to make my point as to why these are, why it is such a matter of pleasure to have the BBIT published and used in India. So this is a story of a friend who has MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, and he and his wife at some point decided that they were not going to work in the traditional domains, and they were working with the nomadic populations of India to understand their life patterns. And in Gujarat, where I used to work, there's a whole group of nomadic people who travel from one part of the country up to Afghanistan and come back pretty much every year. So they were following some of what the patterns of these people were. And in one of these conversations, they were spending a night with some people who were camel herders. And this young boy, who was a very talkative boy, Raga his name was, and Raga got very close to my friend, his name is Vinay, and they were talking, or he was asking him questions all the time. And at some point, Raga asked a question to Vinay saying, "How many years have you studied?" So Vinay said, okay, he counted and he said, well, I have studied about 15, 16 years. He said, wow, then you should be able to herd at least 100 camels. So in his mind, he was class 6 pass. And because he was class 6 pass, he had studied up to class 6, Raga was class 6 pass, he could do about 20 camels quite easily. And now this guy was here with 16 years of education, he should be able to do 100 camels. And I think very simply, he told all of us that intelligence is not only how you can read and write and how much you can read and write, it is contextual. For somebody like us, intelligence might be being able to solve a problem very quickly, but for Raga, in the context he was, intelligence was being able to herd more camels easily. And I think it's a very, to me, whenever I think or hear about the story, I think it's so important for us to understand that intelligence has many meanings. And depending on the context, one has to measure it. And a very similar story exists in the cross-cultural literature of psychology, where somebody asked some cross-cultural psychologist, I think it was Siegel, who asked one of the tribal people how many children he had, and he said he doesn't know. And so the assumption was that he doesn't know how to count, and that is why he doesn't know how many children he had. And the reality was that, and eventually as part of the conversation, it became clear that he knew counting, but the belief was that you count cattle, not children. And so the answer to the question that how many children you have has to be no, I don't know, because how do you don't count children. It's culturally not okay to count children. You only count cattle. So again, the point I'm trying to make is that it is so important that we understand that who do we call intelligent, and what is intelligence is contextual. And then in that context, using a WISC or a WAIS or any form of intelligence test in a country like India would definitely give very, very skewed measures of intelligence, because the test measures intelligence as it is conceived in the context in which it is developed. And my assumption and my hope is, and I haven't done enough research on BBTI India to say this, but I know Professor Das very well, that the test is not completely culturally rooted, in the sense that it is not measuring what just a culture or a context believes to be intelligence, but it is much more based on cognitive functions. And cognitive functions have the capacity to be more generalizable than just to ask somebody what is the distance between New York and Chicago, which may be very contextual in a certain context. And it doesn't represent intelligence if it is used to measure that. So with that, let me just say that it is a matter of pleasure to so many years later to be able to speak about Dr. Das's work. I almost became his student and didn't. So it is, it's a bit, so it's always nostalgic, but I think irrespective of whether I became his student or not, I still remain his student and continue to learn from his attention to the work that he started many years ago, and the fact that he continues to improve it, do more of it. It also teaches all of us how we can all continue to, that our work is never done. No matter what we start, no matter what we are working on, there is always possibility to improve it, do more of it, and to take it to a larger or a different audience at a different point of time. So we have not only received a test from Dr. Das, but we have received life lessons of how excellence can be achieved and how somebody can use their skills to continuously work towards something that you have and take it to the community. So I thank you, Dr. Das, and I hope every psychologist uses this test over other tests, which may be more easily available, or I might have prior familiarity to it, but can we learn the new test? Can we use it more often and therefore make it more popular, and also possibly measure it better, measure intelligence better? Obviously, it will never be the final answer on measurement, because that's the nature of measurement, but only if we measure, if we use it, we could do better and improve as we go along. Thank you very much for inviting me, and all the best for the use. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I was very impressed the way you explained the role of culture and how subjective meaning of intelligence can exist. You are so right. When children, they come to our clinic, it makes a lot of sense, rather than disturbing them with their diagnosis and other things, just to see that how well they are adjusted into their own environment. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful talk. Thank you. We have Sir Arvind Shaligram ji with us, and I would just like to introduce him, sir. Sir, please, I extend my warm welcome to you. Sir is Emeritus Professor of Electronic Sciences, Savitribai Phule Pune University. And sir has a big name in his own field. It's something wonderful to know, sir, and we are very delighted that you could take out some time and join us. Now, I welcome Dr. Sujata Satapathy.
I welcome you, Dr. Sujata Satapathy. Ma'am is working as an associate professor at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, AIIMS, Delhi. Ma'am has specialty in clinical psychology. Ma'am has versatile interests and her expertise are in multiple areas of human behavior. Ma'am, we welcome you. I hereby request you to please talk to us about the Hindi translation of BBIT.
So, my pranam and namaskar to all my teachers and specifically Professor J.P. Das, and my hello to everyone out there. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Heartiest congratulations to the entire team of Professor J.P. Das for bringing out this highly commendable kit of BBIT. I'm really very, very happy to be associated with the team throughout the process of development. And of course, I mean, I had a very small opportunity to be associated with Sir in Canada and also here in Odisha and in Delhi. I have learned a lot, although I'm not a very direct student of Sir, but he is my inspiration. So I have taken many things from him. So I again congratulate the entire team led by Professor Das for this highly commendable job of bringing out this culturally relevant, culturally contextualized BBIT kit, and more importantly to make it available to a larger section of Indian society, that is availing the scope of expanding it into different language kit. And this is very, very important when I say that language translation of any English kit, be it intelligence kit, be it any other kit. That's a very, very important aspect of any important and very culturally rooted diagnostic kit. And when I say that, and that the process of translation and the process of translation and the adaptation of translation, it plays a very, very important role to make this intelligence kit or intelligence test more relevant, more contextualized, and more so to establish it as a very evidence-based BBIT kit. So in that process, I am just a small role player in translation of BBIT into Hindi. So it's a like kind of, I am just a small squirrel in the making of the Ram Setu of BBIT. So I'm happy with that role. And I also, I mean, my heart, I mean, my gratitude to Professor Das and the entire team for making me in that squirrel in the making of Ram Setu of BBIT. Definitely, I agree with all my previous speakers. And just going on to what we did here at AIIMS for the Hindi translation of BBIT, I'll just take few minutes to explain what process do we follow. And initially, I mean, a total of kind of, let me say that the process involves 5 clinical and rehabilitation psychologists. These people are entirely into the clinical practice and of course, I mean, research of in the area of clinical psychology. So initially what we did is that we gave the entire set of documents that we received from Sagarika and Pooja and Brajbhushan sir. We gave the Hindi documents first to 3 different professionals, and they reviewed all the documents independently without, knowing that I have given it to 3 people. And what they did is that I gave them what to do in the Hindi translation method, and we followed that rigorous method throughout. And what we did is that each one of them, they identified and highlighted all difficult Shuddh Hindi words to start with. That's a kind of Shuddh Hindi words. When I say, you can see what I have given few examples. Mat mele. I mean, मुझे नहीं लगता आप में से कोई इस शब्द का इंग्लिश जानता भी है, right? उत्क्रमित. So these are kut bhasha. So in English, perhaps they are the very, very commonly used words, but in Hindi, nobody has heard of these terms. So what we did is that we first identified all difficult Shuddh Hindi words. And then we went to not so commonly used Hindi words. Like for example, Rananiti. The moment you say Rananiti tayari ho rahi hai, that gives a very, very alarming stage of our mind. So we worked on that. And then Mulyankan, Truti. Instead of using Truti, if you can say Galtiyan, ya Galtiyon, ya Galti, that's a more commonly used and child friendly. Child friendly is very, very important when we do cultural contextual establishment and cultural adaptation of any English skit. So Teji is a very common word, but again, if we say Jaldi, then that will be more acceptable, more, no confusion will be there in children's minds. Specifically, I'm just looking at the entire translation from children's point of view. So again, Avantit. So there are some words like this. Then the third category was that spoken Hindi words or verbs, but not used in written documents. Like for example, हम दिखलाते हैं, दिखलाकर लाए, like unse. So these words, instead of that, in written languages, in evidence-based research, we use diklaye, dikhakar. These are more acceptable way of Hindi translation. So we did that. And then what we did is that we also tried to highlight the ambiguous or negative indicative words, like ingit karna. So ingit karna is absolutely normal when we translate it into it, like I'm just pointing out. Pointing out means ingit karna. But when we go back to the local connotation of it, ingit karna gives a very negative connotation. Okay, so that is why we said that no, we'll change this. Ingit karna, it gives a negative connotation, like something negative in that person we are trying to highlight. So similarly, the first category of reviewing is that. The second category is that we identified places where English words can be provided in parentheses, so that it becomes easier for the administrator or the clinician to administer it. For example, previous slide. For example, like you can see, if you see Abhilekh Prarup, nobody will understand what is Abhilekh Prarup, even if I belong to UP or MP, right? But if I give it in parentheses, like it is something which is record form. Okay, record form is very easily understood thing. Even if they are from Hindi belt, they understand this is very familiar. They understand this. Prasasit, like administer. Ayate बोलने से सीधा हम पुराने में चले जाते हैं, right? So ayate means just if you give it in line, so that becomes easier. Next slide, please. Then we added missing words to the correct sentences. Like you can see that Pradarsan mein se kuch uthaye. So say is missing here. And then box or cross or box. If you just give a small sign of cross, small sign of box, so that makes easier for the clinician not to make any mistake, or even for the children also, that can be shown, showing that this is a box, this is a cross. Okay, right? Because cross is an English word, box is also an English word. So that can be done. And some words were missing, like बहुत स्पष्ट तरीके से पढ़े, बहुत ही स्पष्ट तरीके से पढ़े. That will give emphasis on how the child has to read it very, very clearly, bahut, with all emphasis. And then we highlighted other mistakes like spelling mistakes. You can say more or less more spelling mistakes, like akar, this is akar. So chalte, this is chalate. So these are all these things. And then gender neutrality also we try to find out. Many places there are gender friendly words, but somewhere wherever it was missing, so we also did that gender neutrality or words applying for both the genders, like ja raha hu, ja rahi hu. So we added rahi hu, so making it more applicable for both the genders. Next please. So these are few examples how three different people have done it very differently, so that nobody is able to influence anyone and there is no bias. The bias is reduced. Next, please. The second method, what we did, we masked, once we received all these three documents, and then we masked the documents and we tried to reach to an agreement. First of all, we wherever three professionals, they agreed 100%. So we just removed those things and kept it saved. And then we went for the places where 2/3 of the, like out of 3 clinicians, 2 clinicians at least they agreed. That is 75% they agreed. So we kept those things separately. Remaining all, what we did is that we made a final document saying that these words have to be contested, and we kept those words or kept those corrections intact for the final round. And in the final round, we again had 2 independent practitioners or researchers, and we gave them the original document and the modified documents that we modified, right? And then they have to match, and both of them, they have to decide which is kind of more acceptable, more user-friendly, more children-friendly, and more kind of commonly used and without any ambiguity in the language. So here, we are in the consensus generation stage now. Currently, the work is going on, and in case there are some places where all 5 of us, we do not agree. So what we did is that we adopted a very easy method that we voted. We took the vote, and the more number of vote we received, we went for that. So that we did. So similarly, the document is now, we are finalizing all the documents, and hopefully, in next few days, we'll be able to complete that. Next, please. And finally, what I can say is that I agree with all my previous speakers when they said that this is culturally and contextually relevant kit. And this is, in fact, making the translation more evidence-based and more rigorous methodologically, that will kind of give a very, you can say, very sharp edge to all the people who are involved in the development of the test, and we can claim that this is how we have done, and this is the method how we have followed. This is better method than what WHO has kind of prescribed, right? So that is how we did it. And finally, what if SAR permits me, then that adaptation part, the preliminary adaptation part of the Hindi translated documents, I will apply the documents. These people who have done this, we'll apply these Hindi documents on 3 children and 3 adolescents to see it. This is practically feasible, and practically, these are the language and everything is kind of very there is no ambiguity, and it is kind of applicable, and for each child and adolescent, that age group that is meant for this test. And then we'll incorporate the final changes into the final adapted materials, as Dr. Das says. So thank you all, and thanks a lot for the entire team. And again, congratulations to the entire team. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sujata ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. I think we have very good clarity that how Hindi translation is coming up. Now, I take the honor to introduce Dr. Ajit Mohanty sir. Sir, I am honored to introduce you today to the audience. Sir is an educational psycholinguistic working on multilingual education, language policy in education, and education of indigenous, tribal, minority communities. He was an ICSSR National Fellow after his retirement 2011 as Professor of Psychology and former chairperson in Zakir Hussain Center for Educational Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Sir, whenever I have met you, during those very short visits at Bhubaneswar, I could just see a humble person. I saw the respect what you carry for all your elders. And sir, trust me, you are a role model for all those things. Your achievement list is very huge and we really want to keep learning from you. Sir, I want you to please share your ideas about BBIT and this field.
Okay. First of all, thank you for associating me with this. I have been, in a way, associated with this particular work right from the beginning, in at least at an emotional state. And I have been associated with the work of Professor Das. I was his student, and for quite a long time, I followed his work. One thing that's commendable about the BBIT is that it stands on the strong foundation, a theoretical foundation, which Professor Das' lifetime work has brought to it. The Bass theory of intelligence is considered one of the major theories of intelligence right now. And therefore, it's one test in India which has a very strong theoretical foundations, which I think would make it very successful, I'm sure. The second thing I would like to point out is that it's collaborative work. In India, regardless of the fact that we talk about a collaborative, cooperative culture, probably research collaboration doesn't happen quite often, regrettably. And therefore, it's good that this particular work has brought people from different parts of India, and also very eminent people in working in the field of psychology to contribute to this and to be a part of this whole team. And therefore, this being a collaborative effort developed and standardized in India, I'm sure it would draw a lot of attention, lot of admiration from, at least from the Indian researchers and users of intelligence test. There are understandably a number of different important players in the market, because test of course there is a market for the test, and you have quite a number of these kind of tests available, which are marketed by the big players, in the market. I hope that it would succeed. BBIT being very indigenously developed by collaboratively or with collaborative effort from eminent psychologists in the country, and also more importantly being developed with a very strong theoretical foundations that Professor J.P. Das has been known for having developed through his lifetime work, would obviously make the test quite successful. I'm glad that the test is not heavily based on verbal inputs, and therefore the test should be amenable to use in different languages in the world, in India and in particular, and therefore I think the test has all the ingredients to be very successful, and I congratulate all the members of the team who have contributed to the development of this test, and I pay my respect to Professor J.P. Das, who has been the brain behind, whose theory has supported this particular kind of test. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And now the wait is over. Thank you so much, Dr. JP Das, for waiting with so much of patience with us. Now we would like you to talk about BBIT. And if you permit me, I want you to talk about why did you choose this name? Here we have Dr. JP Das with us.
I don't know what to say when I hear my name uttered so respectfully. But let me say, or concentrate or focus on one or two things. Pooja some time ago asked me the question, why do you call it brain-based? I don't have a lot of time, but I'll spend maybe 5 to 10 minutes at best. Let me start with saying that it's a cognitive test. Cognition process in BBIT has 4 main pillars. These are flexibility, attention and inhibition, working memory, and information integration. Each of these big cognitive processes have a distinct presence in brain functions. Let me describe this briefly and in a simple way. Flexibility. Flexibility in planning and making decisions in the prefrontal cortex. Even that has special areas. There is one area for solving logical problems, and it's a mouthful, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, or DLPFC, and then another area, emotional problem solving in the orbitofrontal area. This is a simplistic explanation of the 2 kinds of locations for making decisions, logical and emotional. Inhibition and attentional control share more than one area, which are the amygdala and the limbic system, orbitofrontal, as well as dorsolateral area. Inhibition is as important as excitation, even from the days of Pavlov. It was Sechenov who was kind of Pavlov's guru long time ago, who discovered, or claimed to have discovered, that the nervous system not only excites action, but also inhibits action. Now, cognitive flexibility is then located in the frontal lobe, and it means that you can set or shift this set. Working memory is the 3rd pillar. It activates the frontal parietal brain regions. Recent studies have added the midbrain and cerebellum to the functioning of working memory. Information integration, the 4th pillar, involves mostly the back part of the brain, occipital, parietal, and temporal lobe adjacent to the frontal lobe. These are the very basic functional organizations in the brain. I think the credit goes to Alexander Romanovich Luria. I was fortunate to spend 6 weeks with him in Moscow in good old days, 1975, when many of you were not born. Now, why brain-based? Pooja asked me. Let me say then mostly about complex problem solving. we heard the story of the camel herder, and the community of camel herders thought that if somebody has 16 years of education, he can surely herd many more camels than one who has 6 years of education. Now, how do we take this across planning and executive functions to a camel herder is not very difficult to understand. Actually, the person who is herding 10 or 20 camels at the same time has an objective and a goal. This is common to all problem solving. Then he or she anticipates the strategy outcome that has been selected, how it is working. So monitors the progress of the action and receives feedback. Then with that feedback, he or she builds the basis for changing and flexibility. So this is the basic process by which we solve a problem. It's very logical, but we should not neglect the fact that there are emotional problems. I think you can see a slide where I make the distinction between dorsal executive system and the ventral affective or emotional system. These are simple pictures, but they tell you that different regions of the brain are broadly associated with the two kinds of decision making. Logical problem, for example, is involved in a lot of problem solving in mathematics, in business management, and whenever an executive is going to make a decision about the viability of a plan. But there has been a discontent that the executive is too analytical, is too burdened with facts and tables and surveys. Is there not a problem with affect or emotional or conflict sort of problem? And I'll give you a simple example. The BBIT has both kinds of problem solving. One which we call logical, and the other we call predicament. That how do you handle a predicament? Let me give you an example. Suppose my 18-year-old son was jailed for using illegal drugs. He was in prison for 1 month. He comes back home. I, as a father, greet him first, then take him directly to a shelf of books on how to give up drugs, like 7 easy steps, free from drugs in 15 days, and a few other self-help books. I tell him briefly, read these books when you wish. So my dorsolateral prefrontal cortex has made the logical decision. Then he goes to his mother, to meet his mother. She takes his hand, holds it for a moment, and cries. The decision comes from her orbital frontal brain. She is solving the problem with empathy. Nowadays, in administrative science, we urge the decision maker, the executive, to use both kinds of decision making. Yes, you become analytical, but also you have to be synthetic. This was a distinction made long time ago Now, synthetic decision making takes into account empathy. Now, why do we need both of these? In a small study, not really small study, on 115 CEOs of science organizations in India, we found that the most effective CEO is the one who combines both logical and predicament type emotional problem solving. So let's look at both kinds of decision making when we have an intelligence test. You say, what? An intelligence test can do this? Yes. We have the test. One is called Crack the Code, which is a logical problem solving, and the other 5 scenarios like this in the predicament test. So I appeal to you to not only use intelligence as an eclectic collection of skills learned in schools. As many people today have said, that one of the beauty of the test is that it's not based on school achievement. And the other is the despair that is experienced by the test examiner to report to the parents or the teachers. How do I explain what the child is like? And so the teacher says, yes, I understand the child is learning disabled, he's poor in verbal, but that's the reason I sent the child to you. What are you going to tell me then, based on your test? And I said, yes. Luckily, we have at least three intervention programs derived from the basic theory of brain-based intelligence. One is for development of literacy, quotient. The other is for development of reading and learning, that's PrEP. And the third one, the most recent one, is the development of mathematical ability. Lot of mathematics is not properly taught. It's taught through questioning, through examination. That's no way to learn arithmetic or mathematics. What are the foundations of mathematics learning? So we go into the foundations, and for example, what's the foundation of counting? You say, what? You say, yes. What's the foundation of counting? You have in Noah's Ark all sorts of animals, zebras and elephants and small fox or mice. They're all big and small. How do we count them? Irrespective of their size and species, is the problem for a preschooler. So also we use something called a line, and in the middle of it is suppose the number 5. Anything above 5 is to the right, anything below 5 is to the left. So the number line is used in all sorts of mathematics. We use a lot of working memory and strategizing when especially you are doing mental arithmetic. So we go to the foundations of acquisition of literacy, to the foundations of what makes a child learn language and reading, and the foundations of a person who is learning to do mathematics. So you can see that there is a very close relationship between our assumptions about brain localization and the intervention programs that we have derived. It needs a lot of improvement, but a beginning has been made. Thank you so much. All the speakers overwhelmed me with their reference to me. I have lived long enough now, and then I ask, is there a purpose? Why did I live so long? Is there a purpose at all? Is there a teleology? I think yes. We are all, in a way, instruments of the divine. With that, I offer my pranam to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Now I take pride to introduce Satya Das, sir. Satya Das, sir, is proud son of Dr. J.P. Das. He is a publisher of BBIT. Sir, you have a versatile profile, starting as a distinguished journalist and a Canadian writer. He is also strategist and policy guru and advisor for the Government of Canada, municipalities, private firm, and startups also. He has been a recipient of many awards, human rights activities. Sir, we welcome you. And on this occasion, we would like to hear something from you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jha. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your collective effort in making my father's dream come true. I also want to declare on this momentous day for the Das family that my uncle, who's also Dr. J.P. Das, has joined us, along with my auntie, Mrs. Gayatri Das. And my uncle has known my father longer than anyone else in the world. So that is quite a distinction, because my uncle has known my father for 88 years now. So you can take a guess on how many lifetimes that covers. A lot has been said about the lack of cultural bias in BBIT. Actually, I would beg to differ. There's a distinct cultural bias here, and it stems from a family history. It comes from my grandfather, Biswanath Prasad Das, who had a very simple lesson in life that he instilled into me and certainly into all of his children. Every human being has value. Every human being has dignity. No one is greater, no one is lesser. Once you begin with this perspective, you see the genesis of something like BBIT. You see why, instead of imposing a colonial system of education, instead of imposing a system that grades people according to rank and societal status, the BBIT actually is a great tool of empowerment, inclusion, and societal development that is based on the principles that every life has worth, every life has value, every life has dignity, and every human being has a potential that is waiting to be realized. Now, how do you objectively measure that potential is really the issue. And in this, my father has spent at least 60 to 65 years of professional life working toward and building up to this final achievement, we hope, of a distinguished academic career, which is the creation of the BBIT as an indigenous Indian system of recognizing the value, the worth, and the dignity of everyone. And this contribution, I must humbly say, really does come from our family experience. My grandfather was a postal worker, but he never lacked in dignity. He never taught us to look down on anyone, nor look up to anyone if that respect was not merited. He did not tell us that if somebody is rich or successful or this or that, you should automatically applaud them or bow to them. No, we had to take their measure as people. Were they selfless or selfish? Did they do for others or only for themselves? And it was this community spirit, the communitarian sense of helping one another, of belonging to one another, of being with one another and showing solidarity. These values that my grandfather gave us are completely reflected in our upbringing, in the lives that we have lived, and the service that we have given, and certainly are reflected as the core values of the BBIT. So I just wanted to make those few observations and thank you all from the bottom of my heart. You have really made my father's dream come true.
Thank you, sir. So with this, we have come to an end of the ceremony. Now, I request Dr. Pooja Jha to give the vote of thanks.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnmadayah Purnameva Vashishyate. There is no ending to this event. This is infinite. And this cycle of knowledge would keep on going to produce another infinite event. Still keeping all the worldliness in my mind, I extend all my heartfelt thanks and my gratitude to our chief guest who couldn't join us, but on paper he had agreed to. Thank you so much, Rajesh Topeji sir. At least till last night you were with us. Thank you, Dr. Kalidas sir, for joining us today evening. My soulful thanks to all those children who participated in this program, and they participated in the test, though it was lengthy at the beginning. I thank to all the school principals who allowed us to do this, parents who gave the consent so willfully, all the research associates who did data collection. Without you all, it was just not possible. I thank you, Dr. Das, for your patriotic efforts and trust me for blessing all of us in your company. Thank you to all the authors of BBIT. A special thanks to Professor Damodar Suar sir, IIT Kharagpur, who helped us with this statistical analysis. We extend our thanks to Changlu sir for helping us in this humongous statistical task. I'm very thankful to Satya sir for this publication. Thank you, Thomson Press, for taking our erratic corrections. And yes, to give me those yummy lunches on those 5 days when I visited you in Delhi. Thank you, Nayam from Thomson Press, for your patience and trying out all possible things to make our BBIT look a quality product. I thank you, Professor Nandita Babu, Dr. Sujata Satapathy, Professor Niharika Vohra, for accepting our invitation today and joining us. I'm extremely thankful to Dr. Sanyam Bharadwaj for joining us today. I understand due to some technical difficulties, initially, some people couldn't join, but I know that they are like my gurus. And Dr. Arun Singh, I'm extremely thankful, at least at the back term, you were very supportive for this event. Dr. Jayanti Narayan ma'am, Dr. Jayanti Pujari ma'am, my guru, Dr. Sarojarya, and Krishna sir, Beena ma'am, Shiv Kumar sir, for accepting our invitation. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries for joining us today this evening. Thank you, Mahesh sir and his team Pixelstat for making it possible online. Thank you, Soma Mukherjee, especially for making my Medha live, and that too on such a short notice. Thank you so much, Mr. Manu, for making marketing support and content writing. Thank you, Ragesh, for your unconditional support and the whole launch preparation, what you did with us, and especially to have a quality. Thank you so much, all the guests who were here with all your patience and you were listening to us. Brain-Based Intelligence Test has a YouTube channel. I want many of you to please subscribe it. Dr. JP Das is with us for all the interviews which we are going to publish on that YouTube channel.
Thank you very much, Pooja. I'm overwhelmed with all the compliments to give. Bye.
Thank you all the families of all the organizers, because we understand that we could squeeze out all your time and we prepared this product. We could do something for India. Jai Hind.